DaveMadMax 6 for Muscle Beach TV, and this is a very special edition of Muscle Beach TV in Las Vegas, the day after Mr. Olympia, with my good friend Joe Tong. Joe, welcome to the show.
How you doing, Dave? Thanks for having me.
I'm great. So, listen, guys, I've been wanting to do this interview for a long time. Joe is one of my oldest friends. I've known him for years when I first moved in Venice back in '93. And it's a very important episode for me because Joe has been competing at the USA since way back then. He's been around the block for a long time, trained with Strydom, all the greats in bodybuilding. And Joe finally got his pro card. So I said, listen, man, you owe me an interview. I need to have you on the show. So here we are the day after the Mr. Olympia with Joe Tong, and I want to talk to him real quick. Joe, tell me a little bit what it's like to finally get your pro card after all this time.
It hasn't really set in. It's sometimes I think about it. I think, okay, I have it, and then other days I'll just be, driving down the street, and I mean, literally want to start crying. I mean, just the joy that I feel, I can't describe it. Anything to do with bodybuilding I ever felt like this. It's just tremendous. Flex was telling me after the day I won, he said, just sit there and think about, you came by this. He said, nobody can give it to you. He said, you only got it because of the work that you put into it and the sacrifice. So now think about all those times of sacrifice and what it means. And so it's just, it's unreal. I still can't describe it. I'm still in heaven with it.
So Joe, you just won the Masters Nationals. Is that what was the show where you actually get your pro card?
It was North America. I did the Masters Nationals 7 weeks before.
Okay.
And I got third in heavyweights, and then 7 weeks later I won the Masters North America.
Okay, that's awesome. So take me back a little bit. When I first met you, and you were living in Venice. You were training with one of Gary Strydom's best friends. You're training with a lot of the pros back then. You know almost all of them, more than me actually, because you've been there for so long. But you don't look that old yet. So take me back a little bit, and how was that training with all the greats of our sports, and tell me a little bit more about that.
You know what it was like to live in Venice, so you're around everybody all the time, and it becomes a very close-knit family. So it's like some people say in the magazines, this is, Mike Christian, Gary Strydom. You're used to them be, Mike and Gary. But I was very fortunate when I first came to Venice. I started training with Mike Christian, trained with him for about 3 years.
What year was that?
1989.
Wow.
89, so I think I was like 5 at the time. No. so that was 89. Then I went on, trained with some other ones. I trained with Strydom for 3 years.
Yep.
And I just was very lucky. I started working with Chris Gettin right for BodyBuilding.com. I worked for you actually at the store.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, and, I think you worked for me. But
yeah, I worked for you, and that's where everybody came in and hung out.
Yeah,
so what I did is
patio furniture chair in the store. Remember, they were all sitting there.
Chairs,
Titus and
Chris
Jay,
Game Boy all the time.
Yeah.
But what I did is I started making a notebook of everybody I would train with and talk to, even like Jay, and I would say, okay, Strydom has really good outer triceps. He does this for his triceps. Jay talked about this diet-wise, and I just made notes.
Wow.
And then I would start kind of looking through those things and trying to come up what worked for me. And I did that for a long time. I competed after I won the Hawaiian Islands back in, I think, '96. I did the USA, and I was going to be in the heavyweights. There was no super heavyweights, so it was Tom Prince, Dennis James. So I dropped down to light heavy. First show got 13th, and then I kind of got out of it, trained on and off. And about 10 years ago, I think, Chris Kamir talked me into doing a show. It was actually, I was going to do the Masters, and he said, why don't you do the Venice Beach? And I said, yeah, and I said, well, I don't have a posing routine. He's like, wait a minute, do you go home and get in front of the mirror before you go out to the club and practice dancing? I'm like, no, and he's like, just get up on stage and pose. So
wing it.
Yeah, so I did that. Kathy Lee Francois was judging, and so I won that. Then I went on, was training with Armin Schultz at the time, the German.
That's right, big,
340, big guy.
Yep.
And I always seemed to Masters to get like second or third, and then Flex hooked me up with Neil Hill, and ever since then it's just been a great combination.
How long have you been working with Neil?
For 4 years now.
Yeah. You went, I remember we spoke once, and you actually went to India to do some training over there, just like Chris and Neil, right?
Yeah, actually, Chris and Neil brought me over, so I was in India, Dubai, Italy.
Wow.
So I was working, that was actually great because I was training for a show at the time.
Yeah.
And so Neil and Chris and I would train together every day. So
nice.
that, just getting used to their English sense of humor was a little different, but it was a great time, great learning experience.
So now tell me, now that you have that pro status that you worked so hard for, waited so long for, what is next for you? And don't tell me I'm not going to compete as a pro. I just wanted to have the pro card. What are you going to do with it now?
Ask my wife.
Do we have to get her on camera? No, seriously. You going to compete?
At first I told her I probably would never do it. And I would be satisfied either way, meaning that for me, it was honor with the medical things I went through just to get that card and say I did it. But you always want to at least get on stage as a pro. And so Neil and I kind of talked about it and said, he said, well, you at least have to do a 212 show. And that way, he said, just the feeling of being called your name to walk out on stage. You're not a number anymore. The people, call you by Joe Tong. He said, just to get that experience. And he said, then I would do a Masters Pro show right after that, where you have more opportunity to actually, do better. So that's what I'll talk over with her about and Neil about, and, kind of go from
212, though, I mean, what did you weigh when you got your pro card? Because you looked a lot bigger than that.
No, it's funny. Actually, the Nationals in July, I thought I was going to be about 210 because I always competed around 211. So I got there with my wife, weighed in on the scales. I was 202.
Oh, my God. You look like you were 225, 230.
So the morning of the show, I was 198. And then actually I got sick. I think I threw up 4 times before I went on stage. So I went back home, upped my diet, cut my cardio back, cut my training back. I was training with Alex, Alex. So we
of
were
course,
training,
Alex. He's right there.
And pushing me. So, but we cut everything back. And so then when I weighed in for the North America, I weighed in at 209. So actually I went up 11 pounds.
How tall are you? You're 5'9", 5'10".
5'8.5".
Okay. God, you look so much bigger on stage. That's crazy.
Sure, I wish. But, so, because I always thought, 212 class is so little. But now that I actually got my card, only 211, I'm thinking 212's not that little.
Did you see Jose Raymond and Flex and all these guys? Come on, man. In the 212, they don't look nothing like 212.
Right. So, of course, everybody is so much younger. Those guys, I mean, I'm 50 years young now. Not old, 50 years young. So I have to be realistic. I mean, I couldn't be as competitive with those guys, but to be able to go out there and say, hey, this guy looks good for his age. He really looks good. He's in shape. He brought it. I would like to be able to do that and then go where I think I have a chance. I think I could win the 50-year-old pro, next year.
Well, listen, we both know that you're not doing this for the money. You've been doing this for your whole entire life because you're passionate about it. You love it, obviously, and that's why you're still doing it today. So I don't think it's not a reason why you're doing that. You actually have a career. Talk about what you're doing a little bit. I mean, you're training people, but also you have a career, right?
Yeah, I'm a nurse. Been doing that since 2004. And then I have the company PhysiqueRx.com that I own with Dr. McCain and my wife.
Yeah, Ryan McClain, that's right.
So we have that together. So we do a lot of online clients, a lot of overseas clients.
Well, you see, so I mean, your whole entire life is based on health and bodybuilding and fitness, and that's your whole life.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I enjoy being able to look at the body and look at all areas of it and everything, so it all kind of interrelates together.
Yeah. Would you have done anything else with your life? I mean, when you look back, could you see yourself doing anything else?
Honestly, no.
Yeah.
And like I told my wife, as soon as I stepped off stage, Ardella wanted to interview me, and I couldn't interview. I started crying. I thought, it never really. I mean, I never knew what it felt like to be up on stage because before I was on stage, and I would be like a little nervous. Are they going to call me? I would be nervous the day before. But Neil and I talked about this. This is the first show I've ever done. I was never nervous. And my brother was there. He's like, I've never seen you this calm. Yeah. And like the night before, I was renting Chappie on, HBO. I was watching TV, laying in bed. Neil said, don't go downstairs yet. Take a nap, eat. And just everything felt right.
Wow.
And so when I was literally standing up there after I won my class and getting ready for the overall, I thought, I have this. And it was just such an incredible feeling,
Wow, I'm so happy for you, and we're so happy. I mean, I'm sure all your friends, all the people that know you, were so happy for you because we know how much you love it, how hard you worked all these years. Not to say that everybody else is not working hard, but I mean, you really put your heart and soul into it. And so when you won, so many people that were not even present were so happy for you, including Jay, because I had him. I told him, I said, Joe got his pro card. So right away he went to go see the picture. He was like, oh my God, this wasn't even close. I mean, he was going to win all day long. So he was really happy for you as well.
For me, the whole thing is. And this is with the sport. You can do the sport and just be yourself and focus on yourself and block everybody outside, or you can look at the people in your life. Like like you said, we've always been friends. I even texted you, I think, a couple months ago, asking you questions about your back. When I saw the pictures of it, right? You remember? So I texted you and say, hey, So the thing is, you get a very close-knit family. So even though I was up on the stage winning, it wasn't me. I mean, I couldn't do it with Alex. He was there, he sacrificed, where he was working at, so many things like that. My wife, who, I know there was a lot of days I wasn't pleasant to be around. Neil texting him all the time, quit worrying. So it was a big team thing. Although those people weren't up there.
They all won with you.
Oh, they won, and that's what drove me and kept me there. I mean, there was times I was down, I was so tired. Can I do this? But they were there behind me, and so that which makes it so much enjoyable for me is because it was a group thing. It was all of us.
Yeah. Joe, I'm really glad you came on the show. I'm really glad you got your pro card, and I hope you compete because I think you owe it to yourself, but also everybody else you just mentioned. I think it's important for you to fulfill, at the very least, that pro card, and then pop that cherry. Just do it, and you may not stop for a while, man.
Just I have to give my wife a good present to let that
She's smirking over there. I don't know if that's good or not, but
no, it's good. It's good.
All right. Well, I'm really happy, and this is actually a very, very cool gym. We're here. We're at City Athletic Club, which actually train people, which is like the new mecca in Vegas. I actually interviewed Tony Pearson at Gold's Gym Venice recently. He told me this gym's awesome, and he wasn't lying. I mean, today there's tons of photo shoot going on. It's a really nice gym. So if you come to Vegas, come and check him out. Las Vegas City Athletic Club on Sahara, right? And
Sahara.
And you're here all the time training people.
I'm here all the time. Jay, he was a competitive bodybuilder himself, the owner.
The owner, yeah.
And he really caters to people that are training, whether you're a pro, amateur. They have Heat A&R's has their
the Body Cafe.
Cafe, so they have food, drinks. Place has a pool inside, so it's a great place to train.
Yeah, awesome gym. And since there's no more Gold's Gym, it's just kind of like a place to go, right?
This is it. You have Las Vegas Athletic Club, which is more fitness, but not the serious.
Yeah. All right, Joel. This is DaveMadMax 6. Glad to have this guy as a pro now. I'm very, very excited to be his friend, and then congratulations. I'm so happy for you.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it. I look forward to shooting with you, training now.
Yeah, that's right, man. You better come to Cali.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, that's it, you guys. We're wrapping it up. This is DaveMadMax 6 for Muscle Beach TV, and we're out.